truck racing tonight.
Well, if you want to be a national champion in this sport, you're going to have to be at Richmond competing with these guys, like you say, 14 of the best. They're here to see who can win this thing.
And 3 of those 14 we haven't seen in quite some time.
Ron Dennis came over from Flagstaff, Arizona. He's going to be a player for the national championship. Scott Stevens shows up with a revolutionary new truck with a lot of technical advantages to it. First time we've had a chance to look at him. And Rod Litzow, USA 1, he's back in his own home turf on this long outdoor track, so look for a lot of mile an hour, a lot of air tonight.
And talking about home turf, we can't forget about Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger. He is from the state of Virginia. He's been on a downslide lately, but this could be the night that he pulls it all together to win one before the hometown fans. We're going to get first round action underway straight ahead on ESPN.
Powertrax and the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevy truck.
And welcome back to the Richmond International Raceway for the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge. They have completed qualifying. There is our top qualifier, Rod Litzow, USA 1. He is about to make his bye run. That's the benefit you get, Army, when you get the top qualifying time.
Yeah, Richard, it pays dividends later on as the next pairing will be the Equalizer going up against the Nightlife.
Then we're going to have Ron Dennis, Leadfoot, up against the Ford No Problem, and John Moore.
Moore based out of Tennessee. The Gravedigger out of Virginia, home state boy going against the Missouri. The Wild Hair of Bob Breen. They'll be paired together.
Steve Kane at Awesome Kong. He qualified to take on Starvin, Marvin Smith, and Stoffer.
And then, of course, Mad Dog. Bob Breen's brother, John, also out of Missouri, be going against the Georgia-based Clydesdale Chevrolet.
Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher. He is going to be facing the Ford of Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw. And that is the way they're going to set up for the first round of action as we get ready next for Rod Litzow. This will be his bye run. He's the defending national champion.
Well, he made his qualifying run, quick qualifying run, out of the left lane. He comes back for a bye run. What he's basically doing right now is just checking the track out, trying to get a feel for it. He worked the right lane. He has some idea now of which lane might be the better, should he have to make that decision later on, and that will definitely happen as the night goes along, Richard.
And, of course, Rod did everything he was supposed to do in the bye run there. He took it nice and easy, trying to protect equipment for a little bit later on when he goes side by side with the other guys. Now, earlier in qualifying, a truck we were anxiously awaiting to see on the track, Scott Stevens in King Crunch, he had problems as he qualified.
Well, the problems were in the transmission area. They actually snapped the transmission. This young man based out of Texas, even though young in years, as a veteran in the sport of monster truck racing, has carried the name King Crunch awfully well around the country. A whole new concept in the truck. The engine location, he runs an autometer electrical system on it. It's a computer, Richard, that actually gives him a setup. Now, he has lost the transmission on this particular run, but it was a quick run, so he showed us real quick. He's going to definitely be in this hunt for the national championship.
The King Crunch machine is going to be out of the competition, though, because of a broken transmission. So that'll be the last we see of Scott Stevens, but just the last on this show. We'll see him down the road, I'm sure, quite often. We're ready to go side-by-side racing now, though, and it is the current Renegades TNT National Points leader, David Morris, and the Equalizer, and he is going to be facing Dave Wysorek from Grand Island, Nebraska, and the Nightlife. Both of these are Chevrolet.
You know, it's interesting. The Equalizer comes out. He goes to the left side of the track. This young man, like you said, is your current national points leader. But believe me, the Carolina Crusher is sitting right on his heels, right behind the Crusher in third place. The Gravedigger and USA 1's there. This kid knows he cannot slack off at all. He has got to go hard every time he goes out, just like that.
And David Morris gets the win over Dave Wysorek. So it's going to be the Equalizer moving on to the quarterfinals.
Dave Morris, a 679, and you did it the hard way. It looks awfully tough out there tonight.
Yeah, the course, it's a lot rougher than I expected it was going to be. I don't know which side yet I like, so I'm still undecided about the lane as far as a good one and a bad one. I thought the other one was bad, but this one seemed like it was just as bad, so.
We'll see you in the next round.
All right.
Coming out next to go side-by-side is going to be Bob Breen. He is the driver of the Wild Hair Chevrolet out of Jefferson City, Missouri. And he is going to be facing what many call the most feared monster truck in America. That's the Gravedigger of Dennis Anderson, but maybe not as feared as it was earlier in the season. You know, Dennis won 4 of the first 5 races. He's fallen on hard times recently. We spoke to him about that earlier.
Dennis Anderson, a whole lot of problems have set in on you to drop you from the national points lead. down into the number 3 spot. What's been going on, and what are you going to do to turn it around?
Well, first of all, our motor that we had a good combination on, it started going away, fading away. So we're stepping towards a little bit stronger motor. I've got a backup motor in it right now, and what we're trying to do is we're redesigning another motor to run outdoors. Maybe it'll give us a little bit more edge on the guys. And I've got to run this little bit, this weaker motor for right now. But once we get my other motor back and we get everything planed off, I think I'm going to come back strong.
Well, let's see how strong he's going to be. It's Gravedigger against the Wild Hair.
Gravedigger will be working the left side. Bob Green and the Wild Hair. Rear engine truck, by the way. Both of them are rear engine. Who can go the greatest? Green, look at that. He jumps up the first set of cars. Green's going to advance, Richard. That small engine may come back to haunt the Gravedigger. The only chance he has now is maybe to get back in the program to a quick loser time.
We are not going to call that an upset as Bob Green just whipped the Gravedigger.
Bob, you had a conversation with Dennis before the run. What'd you tell him?
I told him he better hammer it.
Does that wall bother you guys out there at all tonight?
Oh, it'll make you a little bit leery. You know, you kind of wonder, because when you hit the cars, when you come down, if you don't hit them score on, you don't know where you're going to come off of them at.
So the best situation is to get out in the lead quick. Is that what we can look for?
Yeah, I think you're going to look for the man that gets the lead. He's going to be the one that finishes.
Stay tuned. We've still got more great first-round action coming up. Awesome Kong, Stomper, Mad Dog, Clydesdale, Carolina Crusher, and the Jersey Outlaw. They're right around the corner on ESPN. And welcome back to the Major League of Monster Truck Racing. It's the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge. We're in Richmond, Virginia, halfway through the first round, and Army to Track appears to be a track that is very tough on these guys as we get ready next for Steve Kane and Awesome Kong. That's what we call the skinny Chevy on the circuit. And he's going to be taking on, well, you might want to call it the fat Chevy. It's the Stomper of Starvin' Marvin Smith. But this track is developing into being a real story here.
Yeah, what it is, Richard, the track, it's not really the track, it's the walls that run parallel with the track. There's not that much room in between the cars and the walls and the drivers. During the interviews, we've noticed these drivers, they're thinking about that wall. Sitting on the line right now, Chevrolet, front motor Chevrolet, the Stomper, far side, going against Awesome Kong out of Texas. Kong, a real good lead. He's going to advance if nothing goes wrong. Steve Kane goes to the next round. Smith really bouncing on the other end, Richard.
Kane didn't seem intimidated by the walls at all there.
Well, you got to remember, his vision is better than any other monster truck. He can see the wall. That could be an advantage.
Maybe all the guys should go to the skinny models here. We get ready next for the Chevrolet. It's called the Mad Dog. He is out of Barnett, Missouri. That is John Breen taking on the longest wheelbase monster truck on the circuit, Bennett Clark and Clydesdale from Georgia. The wheelbase 140 inches on the Clydesdale.
Well, 140 inches supercharged Chevrolet, the Clydesdale working the left side. Breen runs the smallest engine on the circuit. It's not even supercharged. It's a single 4-barrel carburetor on the Mad Dog. He's trying to get it the quick way. He gets out first. Clydesdale's going to come back. Richard, Clydesdale, what a run. But, man, they're really having trouble shutting them down on that top end, Richard.
So Bennett Clark and the Clydesdale will move on to the quarterfinals as we're going to take a look at a replay of that matchup. And, Army, one thing I've noticed, a lot of these guys are getting sideways as they come across the finish line.
Yeah, they're taking some real weird bounces. On the replay, you notice the Mad Dog on the left of the screen. He came out quick, got a whole shot, but that 140-inch wheelbase supercharged Chevrolet, and he got no man's land between the jumps. That's when he nailed Breen to the wall.
And now we're ready for the classic matchup. It is the Ford against the Chevrolet. Mike Wine comes out in the 88 Ford. He's got a 528 cubic inch engine in it. It's called the Jersey Outlaw, but he is taking on the number 2 guy currently in the overall national point standings. It's Gary Porter, the Chevrolet Carolina Crusher from Wadesboro. Gary not only number 2 in the point standings, he's a veteran of almost 4 years on the race circuit.
Porter knows this is a very important race, Richard. The reason being, anybody make a mistake, either he or the equalizer, somebody new is going to go out of here a national points leader. Porter wants it to be him. Good leave on the right side. Porter in the Chevrolet. Boy, Wine came back on him, though, but Porter hangs on for a win out of that right lane.
So Gary Porter, the guy in the Chevrolet that has written on the back of his truck, "Have you driven over a Ford lately?" gets the win as he knocks off the Ford of Mike Wine. Gary Porter advances now into the quarterfinals. Here's Army.
Well, Gary Porter with the second quickest qualifying time. He had lane choice. You went to the right side. Is there any kind of a difference out there tonight?
Well, I can't really say I hadn't run the left lane yet. The right lane, I'm seeming to be getting a little bounce in the rear end of my truck. I've done some suspension changing and may have made a mistake on that.
Everybody's bouncing really weird tonight. We're standing on the end of the track. Gary, is that a result of that wall being so close to you fellas out there? Is there something subconscious that's making you drive a little bit different? Because everybody is bouncing strange.
Yeah, you're very conscious. I'm wanting to run to the left side of the lane, to stay as far away from the wall as I can, and that may be causing a problem.
Now, you keep in mind these walls here at the Richmond International Raceway designed to stop NASCAR stock cars that are doing about, 160, 70 miles an hour, so they're pretty rugged walls, and the guys are trying to avoid them. As we get ready for our next matchup, which is once again a Chevrolet against a Ford. It's the lead foot of Ron Dennis. I kid him. I call him Ravishing Ron Dennis on the circuit. Good-looking guy. He comes to us from Flagstaff, Arizona, and he takes on John Moore from Lafayette, Tennessee, driving the Ford, no problem.
Keep an eye on Moore on this run, Rich. I'll tell you why. Suspension. Leadfoot's been having all kind of problems. He's getting a real rough right out of his truck. Now, Moore working the left side.
Whoa.
Not only, but look at the Arizona. El Camino comes back on him.
We got to call that an upset.
Definitely. And congratulations to Ron Dennis, because they've been having some bad luck. It looked like it may have just turned it around.
Ron Dennis with the upset win over John Moore, and no problem, and that is going to wrap up our first round of action. When we come back, get ready to rock and roll. It's the quarterfinals from Richmond on ESPN. From Richmond, Virginia, it's the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge. And Army, we are about to start the quarterfinals. What a race to start them off with. The defending national champion against the current #1 points leader.
Richard, it's going to be an all Chevrolet battle right here. Rod Litzow rolls out. A lot of pride in the USA 1 team. They do not want this kid from Tennessee, your current national points leader, putting them on a trailer at this time.
Well, that is David Morris, the driver of Equalizer. And just a few minutes ago, Army asked him how he's going to race against Rod Litzow as he climbed in the truck.
Basic thing, I'm going to have to try to have a lot of control over that course. That course is pretty tough. Rod's running good out here tonight, so I'm just going to have to do the best I can against him to win.
Going to have to leave quick?
Definitely.
Sounded like a little bit of lack of confidence from David Morris as we are at the starting line. It's Litzow, USA 1, Morris an Equalizer.
Both of them supercharged Chevrolet engines. USA 1 front motor in the left lane, rear motor, Chevrolet right lane. It's side by side. Richard, here they go. What a jump. We got problems. He's in trouble. Morris goes on his head.
David Morris has flipped it. He is unstrapping. He is coming out of the truck. I can't tell if he's injured. He is out of the truck very quickly. The crew all around him. He appears to be okay. I can't really tell. That is John Moore, another driver attending to him. A breathtaking, violent crash. There's the signal. David Morris waves to the crowd that he is okay. Army has got him right now.
David, you set up a war and you fought a good battle. I can't think of anything else that you could have done to win that thing. It was awesome.
Well, I didn't know what happened. I knew I made a good landing when I landed, and I don't know, I couldn't figure out why the truck would be rolling, but I knew it was, so I hope it didn't hit Rod's anywhere.
No, Rod's okay. He was over here worried about you. The landing was good. The bounce is where the problem came in. You landed, it looked good, and then you took a real weird bounce that we've been talking about all night long, and it went over to the left front, and that's what tore the whole front suspension out from underneath the truck.
Well, I didn't know what happened. I knew something had happened major because the truck had started into a roll, and it hadn't been doing it when it takes that kind of landing, so I knew something had to broke.
We're going to they're going to put you right back to work. Gary Cook's got a bunch of guys. They're going to try to get the truck fixed. We're glad you're okay. We'll see you on the tour later on.
Okay, thanks.
Army, I got news for you. There's no fixing that truck tonight. It's out of the competition. David Morris, a violent crash. He won the race, but he's not going to advance with that truck. So Rod Litzow and USA 1 will move on into the semifinals. That's not the way Rod wanted to get there. He wanted to get a clear-cut win, but they have been hard to come by of late. As a matter of fact, all the guys were catching up to the power of USA 1, and we talked to Rod earlier about that fact.
Well, we're hoping, everything's going our way now. We're getting the truck dialed in. What happened at the beginning of the year was a little bit of bad luck, but the truck is running strong. The other guys came out this year, surprising us how they made the jump. We didn't think that everybody was going to make the jump that drastic. So we had to make a few changes ourselves, and now we made those changes, and now we're coming back on strong.
You're talking about making a jump. You mean technically they caught up in a hurry, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. The truck technology and all that behind them has changed just over the winter, just the one time, and we didn't plan on it that way. And now we just had to make our changes a lot faster. We had them in the drawing board, but now we had to bring them out faster than we planned.
Rod Litzow sounding a little disgusted and a little dejected in that interview earlier, Army. As we get ready for our next race, Awesome Kong, one of the lightest trucks on the circuit, with Steve Kane against the heaviest truck racing, the Nightlife of Dave Wysorek.
Dave Wysorek, the driver that always drives with his head out the window, he's going to be working off the right side of Awesome Kong. They're still trying to figure this track out. Kong leads. Boy, Kong's having a problem. His motor starts to flutter on him. And Wysorek, he's going to advance. Awesome Kong never got the horsepower up on the engine, Richard.
You could probably hear the sputtering. It sounded like the car I drive every day of the week as he was spitting and sputtering down the track. And the win is going to go to the Nightlife of Dave Wysorek as we get ready next for Clydesdale. Bennett Clark, who got that, I guess, an upset win earlier in competition. We didn't really expect the win. He is taking on Carolina Crusher and Gary Porter. Never say never with these monster trucks.
Well, that's true. They can come back into this program through a loser bracket and a quick time previous round loser bracket, so it's to their advantage to drive all the way out the back gate as hard as they can. That's what we're looking at right now. Right lane, Carolina Crusher, look at the air, but Clydesdale came back on him. Porter's going to advance, and remember, he's chasing those awesome national points. This will help him.
So Bennett Clark, as we get a replay, makes a good run, but hey, when you're running Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher, you got to make a great run to get a win.
You know, this gets back to what Bob Breen said earlier in his interview. The guy that leads quick and leads first is going to be the truck to beat. That's exactly what happened. Porter left on him.
Well, look at this. The Gravediggers coming out next against the Mad Dog, and they weren't supposed to be there, Army.
No, they come back in. We explained about the brake rule and the quick loser rule. Both these drivers ran hard races, were defeated, but because the person that beat them could not make the call, they go back in their spot.
Leadfoot and Wildhair were supposed to race here. They have broken down, so here we go.
John Green with the carbureted truck leads first, but watch the Gravedigger Anderson. The Virginia truck goes on.
So Dennis Anderson, even though he got knocked off in the first round, suddenly here he goes into the semifinals as he gets the win over the Mad Dog of John Breen.
How's the truck feel? Look good.
That feels good. I was a little late coming off on the line there. I wasn't paying real close attention to the lights, but now that I made this round, the next round I'll be on my cue.
You're from Virginia. We're in Virginia. Is this Virginia's night tonight?
I hope it is. Needs to be my night.
Look at that sneaky little smile on Dennis Anderson, the Gravedigger. Maybe he knows something we don't. He got beat in the first round, but here he is, lo and behold, in the semifinals. And here we go to the question of the week. This question of the week about the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge comes to us from Michelle Salaker of Atlanta, Georgia. Michelle wants to know how the monster truck drivers name their trucks. Well, we can't answer that to all the monster truck teams right now, but we do have three of our drivers with us. First of all, Scott Stevens of King Crunch. How did you name your truck?
Well, we crunched cars and we thought we were the kings.
So that's pretty self-explanatory. Also, Bennett Clark, the driver of Clydesdale. What about it?
Well, we used to have Clydesdale horses, and we keep them around. They're all the time going around stepping on everything. So when we built the monster truck, every time I drive it around, I was either running over something or crushing cars, so I started out naming it the Clydesdale.
Well, now, so far we've heard some pretty simple answers, but now we get to no problem. Now, the driver is John Moore. Heidi, you are John's wife. How in the world did you get that name?
Well, this all got started down in Florida. We used to go play in the mud on the weekends for recreation, and we'd go out there sometimes, and there'd be guys that had been stuck there for days on end, and they'd come out of the mud up to their necks, and they'd come up to John, and they'd say, well, do you think you could come pull us out? John would look at him and say, no problem.
So there you have it. Behind every name is a pretty different story. And if you have a question of the week about the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge, send it to us at TNT Motorsports, 5515 Poplar Park Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky, 40228. And if we use one of your questions on a future television broadcast, we'll send you free a TNT Motorsports hat. Well, get ready next for the Richmond Rock and Roll Show. It's the semifinals, USA 1 against Gravedigger, Nightlife against Carolina Crusher, straight ahead on ESPN.
Powertrax and the Red Man TNT All-American Pulling Series is brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.
We are back in Richmond, Virginia, the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge. It is time for the semifinals. Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher, up against Dave Wysork and Nightlife.
Wysork leads that left lane, head sticking out to win it. He's going to make basically a bye run. Number 2 in the national points chase has some kind of problem on the starting line. Richard, do you have any idea what it was?
Word topside, possible electrical problem, but we're not sure as Porter is just sitting there.
Boy, that is a tough, that could come back to hurt him about 3 months from now.
In the point standings, obviously, that is Rod Litzow. Now, what is he doing in the pit area?
They're trying to get the drive shaft squared away on that truck. They're advancing into the next round. You got to remember, there's no sitting and waiting. Now you thrash in between each and every round to keep the truck going.
Name of the game is breakage here in Richmond. There you see Gary Porter talking to the official. Let's go trackside. Army is going to talk to the winner, Dave Wysork, the driver of Nightlife.
Things are going pretty good for me right now. I don't know. I just hope I can make it through the finals and get number 1.
Okay, now the next race is going to be kind of unique. You got quick qualifier, USA 1. He will want the lane you just ran out of. The Gravedigger, he'll want to stay in the other lane. Are you going to have a preference for lane choice in this final?
Not really. I've been running both lanes all night. I qualified in one lane, and I've been running the other one, so I'll take whatever I can get.
Now let's see who is going to face Dave Wysork. Either 28-year-old Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger or Ron Litzow and USA 1, the defending national champion. But Army, he is not at the line yet, and they have started the stopwatch on him.
Okay, now what this is, you have 5 minutes to get into the lane. Once your competitor goes to the starting line, 5 minutes from that time, you must be there. USA 1's going to make it. But remember, just a moment ago, we were watching the crew. They're trying to weld a drive shaft back together on this truck. I look for a kamikaze run here because he doesn't know if it's going to work or not. But he's got to get to the line, and that's where we are right now, Richard Leek.
The number 1 truck in America going up against the most feared truck in America, USA 1 and Gravedigger. They are ready to rock and roll in Richmond. The winner takes on Nightlife.
Both of them lead side by side. Looks like a good race. A little bit of a lead for USA 1. Anderson trying to come back. Litzow. Oh, what a bounce.
Wait a minute. Rod Litzow gets the win, Army, but I think I saw something come flying out from underneath the truck. Let's check it on a replay. Litzow to win, but possible breakdown.
Watch at the very end, right there. You can see something let go, and right there it comes out. Litzow completely destroyed the bottom side of the truck. I don't think he's going to make it back into the final.
He is not going to. The word already is that Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger, despite the fact that he has lost twice tonight, is moving to the championship because of that gentleman. Rod Litzow has broken the transmission and the drive shaft. So we're ready for the final, and it's going to be 2-time loser, Gravedigger, against 2-time winner, Nightlife.
That's what's so interesting about the sport. You push it all the way to the end. Anderson's done it. Look at this. He's going to the final in front of his own home state and takes the win. Richard, what? This is fate. This is amazing. The crowd is so pumped up at Richmond Raceway for this kid they call a Gravedigger.
So Dennis Anderson, despite the fact he got beat earlier in 2 separate races, gets to the championship and wins it. How in the world did he ever make it to the finals?
I've lost my way to the finals, really. We're back in the pit, piddling around on the truck, getting ready for tomorrow's event. They came and run us out of the pit, said, hey, you're back up on deck. And, you know, I stood a chance of getting to the finals, and I did it.
Wysork gave you an awfully strong run, though, didn't he? That boy's tough.
Oh, yeah, he is. I mean, you can never underestimate Dave. He may look lazy sometimes, but, buddy, he'll get you on the other end.
So we saw it all tonight. A violent crash with the equalizer, and a loser becomes a winner. Gravedigger takes it all. For Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leek. We'll see you again on the tracks across America.